As you are aware, today, Thursday, the 15th of January 2026, was polling day for the presidential and parliamentary elections in our country. The Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of the polling activities and all the other activities previously in general. The polling materials were this morning distributed to all the 739 polling stations to enable polling to start on time across the country. However, the Commission received reports shortly after of failure of some biometric voter verification kits, or BVVK, that were deployed to support or facilitate the verification and identification of voters at all the said polling stations. Accordingly, the Commission took the decision and they guided all returning officers that where a BVVK fails to start, the voting process should commence immediately using the National Voters Register in accordance with the electoral laws and guidelines so as not to disenfranchise any voter. This decision was informed by the fact that the failure of the BVVK in some polling stations was not, in our view, sufficient ground to subvert or stifle the power of the people in electing their leaders. That power is sacred and supreme, whereas it was our great desire and expectation that the said kits work wherever they were deployed. The fact of their failure did not water down the unquestionable right of the people of Uganda to exercise their constitutional power under Article 1 of the Constitution to choose leaders of their choice in a free and fair election, provided the exercise of doing so was conducted in line with the existing legal framework. So it is in that vein, therefore, the Commission found it prudent and most appropriate to guide and direct that the elections take place, provided the voters are sufficiently identified using the polling registers that were availed at every polling station, which polling registers are derived from the National Voters Register, and which data is uploaded or was uploaded and fed onto the biometric voter verification kits. So in light of that fundamental record, which is recognized both in the Constitution and the other acts of Parliament, it was deemed therefore crucial and vitally important that polling or voting proceeds so as to give the people of Uganda their deserved right to elect leaders of their choice. And so it was done. That's why we are here. Nevertheless, the Commission's technical teams were tasked to address the reported technical challenges wherever possible, and stakeholders were being updated accordingly. Furthermore, in recognition of the fact that polling started late or a bit late, rather than the expected time or the scheduled time of 7 a.m., in some areas they started at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., the Commission, therefore, in exercise of its powers, special powers, under Section 49 of the Electoral Commission Act, decided to extend the polling hours, which were earlier scheduled to end or to be concluded at 4 p.m. by 1 hour to 5 p.m. at all polling stations across the country. So the polling stations were accordingly allowed to operate until 5 p.m. or slightly beyond, depending on whether there were a number of voters still in the queue or in the line at a polling station. This extension was granted in order to allow or enable all eligible voters who were unable to vote earlier or who had come to the polling stations early but left due to the delayed, to the malfunctioning of the kits, to be able to come back or to vote, so that none of them is denied the opportunity to exercise his or her right. The Commission wishes to commend the people of Uganda that despite those challenges, they remained calm, they remained tolerant, patient, until the time we said polling can proceed on the basis of the hard copy National Voters Register. I thank you, the people of Uganda, because we do not get any report of any agitated people or voters becoming either violent or anything of that matter. The Commission notes the exercise there has therefore been generally peaceful across the country. We once again salute the people of Uganda for having turned up in high numbers to elect their leaders and for conducting themselves in a peaceful manner and for bearing with us as the Commission. And now, as we talk now, the counting of votes in many places has been concluded, and the declaration of results, or the tallying, the declaration of results, as the declaration of results gets underway, the Commission wishes to call on all candidates, their agents, and supporters to keep calm and be tolerant. The procedures for the declaration of the 2026 presidential and parliamentary election results will be as follows. After the counting of ballot papers cast at the polling stations, the results at each station will be filled or have been filled in the declaration of results forms, and the outcome at that polling station announced by the presiding officer as required by the law. First, beginning with the presidential results at that polling station, followed by the directly elected member of parliament results, and finally the district or city woman member of parliament results. From the polling stations, the results and all other contents that were used at that polling station were delivered to the sub-county headquarters, which is the central collection point for all polling stations in that particular sub-county. Then from there, they will be conveyed to the district tally center, headed by the returning officer. We want to note, you to note, and we wish to emphasize that the envelopes containing the results of the various categories of elections can only be opened at the district tally center, but not at the sub-county center. The sub-county center, I repeat, is merely a collection point where the materials in that sub-county which were deployed or dispatched every polling station would be gathered for onward transmission to the district tally center. At the district or city tally center, the results will be delivered to the office of the district or city returning officer, who will tally and declare the results with directly elected member of parliament or for constituencies in that district or city, and the results for the woman member of parliament for that district or city. As for the presidential elections results, these will be and are being transmitted to the National Tally Center here where we are now at Luoa, Wakiso district. We want you to note that the constituency for presidential candidates is the entire country. Accordingly, the Electoral Commission will tally all results from the districts or cities of Uganda at this center and finally declare the elected candidate for president within 48 hours from closure of polls. Once again, this is the venue that was gazetted in accordance with the law for purposes of hosting the National Tally Center for the presidential elections. The tallying of results will start as soon as they become available from today, Thursday, 15th January 2026, and conclude on 17th January 2026 before 5 p.m. In order to ensure transparency in the tallying process, access to the Tally Center has been granted to duly accredited media personnel, national and international observers, agents of political parties, agents of candidates, and other invited guests. The Commission also wishes to inform the nation that the Electoral Commission has suspended voting for the directly elected Member of Parliament for Kibanda North County constituency in Kiryandongo district and Ibanda municipality in Ibanda district due to a mismatch in the particulars of the candidates on the ballot papers in those constituencies. The Commission will announce a new polling date for the elections in those areas. The respective candidates, the voters and supporters, and the general public are hereby requested to be calm or to remain calm. In appreciation, the 2026 general elections represent another significant milestone in our democratic journey. We wish to extend our appreciation to all stakeholders in the electoral process, including the electorate, the government of Uganda, which has fully funded this electoral process, political parties, civil society organizations, the media, development partners, security agencies, observers, religious and cultural leaders, the media in particular, for their invaluable support and contribution to these activities. Once again, the Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of these elections, and more so for the exemplary conduct you have exhibited despite the challenges that were encountered earlier on in the day. We urge you to do the same in the upcoming elections for local government. We want to appeal to all the candidates, their supporters and agents, and the general public to maintain peace and public order during the counting, the tallying, and declaration processes, and beyond the election period. Remember, Uganda shall and will always be, even after the elections. With these few words, now I wish to declare that this Tally Center is officially opened for purposes of tallying the presidential results. I say this for God and my country. Thank you very much.